The Seder of Balak is so full of drama. There's a talking donkey, and then there's a man who talks back to a donkey as if it's the most normal thing in the world. There's a villain who is so desperate to curse the Jewish people, but alas, all he does is praise the Jewish people. Then there's the disaster at the end when it all goes wrong and a terrible plague takes out thousands of Jewish people who had chosen wrong and angered Hashem. But let's leave that to one side this week and instead focus on this week's reading from the Navi, the Haftarah for this Shabbos. It's one of my favorites. The prophet Micha is an incredible prophet. If you have never learned the book of Micha, it's well worth opening it and learning all of it, not just hearing one little section. But in the second half of the Haftarah, the beginning of chapter 5, the prophet invites the Jewish people, Shimu na et asher Hashem omer. Listen to what Hashem wants you to talk with him about. And he invites the people to open up and to criticize Hashem. You've got a problem with God, says the prophet, let it out. Tell me, and I will make sure that those comments go somewhere. What an incredible opportunity. How many people spend their lives just so frustrated and angry, things burning on their chest, they can't get rid of the frustrations. And the prophet said to the Jewish people, if you've got issues, by all means, come along and share them. But then Hashem says, listen guys, what have I done to you? How have I exhausted you? You tell me. You're unhappy with me, says God? Tell me, what have I done that's so bad? And Hashem now sets forth a bit of his CV. I took you out of the land of Egypt. If Egypt wasn't bad enough, you were also slaves in that land, and I redeemed you. I got you out of slavery. And I sent you, and here's a magic pasuk. I sent before you it's Moshe, Aharon, and Miriam. It's easy to think that obviously Moshe is the leader and Aaron the Kohen Gadol. There's so much text spent talking about them and Hashem speaking with them. And the Navi says, yeah, and there was Miriam. She was also part of the leadership trio. All of the three together were there guiding you. Didn't leave anything to chance. Hashem says, I gave you leadership. And then if you think that wasn't enough, Balak melech Moav. Bilam ben Ba'or, the two characters from our Torah portion. You got these spiritual giants bringing you closer to Hashem, and then the opposite, the negative spiritual forces that came to attack. And Hashem says, I saved you. I looked after you. And then you go through, you think you need thousands of sacrifices to come close to Hashem. It's all about pouring gallons of oil and loads of animals to sacrifice. Is that what you think religious life's about? That's how you're going to get close to God? I'll tell you what's good. This is how to get close to Hashem. What does God want you to do? He demands from you to live a life of justice. And justice can be on the personal and the interpersonal plane. V'ahavat chesed, not to simply be a kind person, but to love kindness. It's a different relationship to the whole experience of kindness if it's ahavat chesed. V'hatzneah lechet im elokecha, and to walk humbly with your God. Ben adam lechavero, interpersonal, and ben adam lemakom, between man and Hashem. But it's possible to understand, as Chazal do, that v'hatzneah lechet is also between ben adam lechavero. It's not just being modest, but it's doing things, taking a dead body to a funeral, or helping a bride get married. All these areas of life are doable, they're actualizable. We can achieve these types of things in our life. That's what Hashem wants us to do, to be good people. And the parallel is obvious. Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. Moshe was Mishpat, he was the lawgiver. Ahavat Chesed is Aaron, Hatzneah Lechet is Miriam. We don't have such leaders today, but the influence of those leadership, or a leader that can bring together legal aspects, loving kindness, and humble humility, walking modestly, connecting heaven with earth. We can do that in our own lives. We can be the legacy of Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam in the world today. Shabbat Shalom.